Hi, I'm Ezra. I'm a rideshare driver and gig economy worker here in Los Angeles. I like to help other drivers understand the potential risks and benefits of working in this industry, and I also like to study the macroeconomic effects that companies like Uber have on our economy. I was already working on a piece about Uber using LA parks without permission to run their Uber Eats food delivery business when I noticed Measure A on the ballot for the upcoming election here in LA County. Now, Measure A asked taxpayers to approve funding for area parks. So while the public is being asked to shell out more money for parks, Uber seems to be using our parks without paying a dime. Take a look. Hey everyone, Ezra here, and today I'm at the Cheviot Hills Recreation Center. It is a public park here in the city of Los Angeles. And the reason I'm here today is that I received a text from Uber. In fact, I've received a number of texts from Uber many days telling me to show up here to pick up my meals. I didn't enroll in any specific meal delivery program for them anytime recently, but for some reason they keep sending me these texts telling me to come here. But the reason I wanted to stop by is that I think there's an interesting situation going on here, which is you have a $60+ billion company in Uber using public parks paid for by the citizens of our city to do their business, to make profits. You know, they have a whole staging area here. They have a table set up. They distribute meals to all these drivers. They have, I've seen probably at least 15 or so drivers come and go already. So using the parking lot, these are things that cost our society. It's not free to have this park. Our citizens pay for it. I'm pretty sure Uber does not pay for it. So just some food for thought. I think it's really important that we address all the economic impacts of a company like Uber on our city and on our society. But basically the question I think it raises is you have this company in Uber with this record valuation, $60+ billion. And, in my opinion, and that of some economists, that valuation was actually built on the back of citizens, on the back of our debt, on the back of our risk, all the drivers who sign up, not built by the own merit of the company Uber. And then to have this company with these record setting valuations all the time, to then leech off of the public and leech off of our society by using our public parks for their own profit, I feel is a major problem that needs to be addressed. And this kind of piggybacks on the whole idea of Uber skirting regulation, all the legal loopholes that they try to get around to save themselves money or to avoid obeying laws and local regulations. And then you have things like this where they leech off of us, off of the public, to actually run a business in a public park, which I just can't wrap my head around. I don't know how this company, this far into their business, so many years, is still doing things like this and leeching off society. And I think it really just speaks to the general attitude of Uber and how they run their business, how they treat their workers, how they treat the cities and the markets that they offer their services in. A lot of people really love the convenience of Uber and how easy it makes everything. But, I think this brings up a lot of legitimate questions as to whether this is a company we want to be embedded in the fabric of our city like this, because if they're not giving back in any way, if they're not renting this parking lot, then what good are they doing us? None, really. They shouldn't be here. I mean, there shouldn't be a company, a for-profit company, running their business out of public parks. That's absolutely wrong in my opinion and has no place in our city. So hopefully the city is aware of this. If not, I'm going to certainly bring it to their attention, because I personally just think it's wrong, and I think it's a slippery slope and leading down, definitely a dangerous road to continue to allow this type of thing to happen. Definitely running a business out of this public park, there's absolutely no question about that in my mind. You can see the other drivers behind me waiting around. I'm sure they're not being paid for their time, which is obviously another issue on how Uber, abuses its workers and treats contractors like employees without paying them like employees. I apologize for my semi-disguise with my camouflage hat and my sunglasses. Like I said earlier, I have delivered meals for Uber in the past, and I even have received some semi-threatening phone calls from them. So, you know, I do have a little bit of fear of this company and retaliation, retribution, and things like that for bringing something like this to light. My experiences with Uber up until this point have certainly, led me to be somewhat fearful of how the company would react to me bringing these legitimate questions. I'm so curious to hear what you think about it, and if you've seen any other abuses like this by this company in your area or in your city, leeching off of the public, using the public resources for their own profit. And I just think that has no place in our city or in our society. So I was able to get in touch with the staff over at the Cheviot Hills Recreation Center, and they confirmed to me that Uber does not have a permit and has never asked for, nor have they received permission to use the park facilities to run their business. Now, I believe that this raises some serious questions that we must ask as a city and as a society if we want to allow corporations like Uber to continue to operate unchecked. History will tell us that if you do allow corporations like this to operate without regulation and without oversight, they will abuse this access. And while Uber may plead ignorance or try to blame lower-level employees for this type of behavior, I can confidently say that that is not the case. As early as April 2015, I received similar texts from Uber telling me to show up to a public park to pick up meals, but this park was in the city of Beverly Hills, Roxbury Park. And when I arrived there to pick up the meals, the contract workers who were distributing the meals were having trouble because the park rangers had confronted them and asked how they were using the park without permission and what was going on. So what I believe happened is that they were asked to leave the park and had to find another solution. Knowing that what they were doing was wrong, they decided to instead shift to a Los Angeles park. And the city of Los Angeles obviously has fewer resources and fewer park rangers to deal with this type of situation than the city of Beverly Hills. So they effectively shifted their Beverly Hills operation from Roxbury Park in the city of Beverly Hills to Cheviot Hills Recreation Center in the city of Los Angeles. Furthermore, the amount of organization that goes into distributing these meals and organizing the drivers through text messages and emails to arrive at this location would indicate that this is something that management is both aware of and most likely made decisions about and participated in actively. So while Uber has proved itself to be very convenient for the citizens of our city, we must ask ourselves if we want to allow this corporation to continue to leech off of our public resources. This is a company which recently signed a lease in the amount of almost $29 million for their Los Angeles office on Ocean Avenue in Santa Monica, where their management and executives work, yet they refuse to provide a guaranteed minimum wage or any type of worker protections for the tens of thousands of Uber drivers in our city, and they deliberately use our public resources without paying for them. I don't think this is right. What do you think?